The miracles of Jesus. As we all know, Jesus had performed countless miracles up to his crucifixion and resurrection. There are many miraculous works of Christ recorded in Bible as he continues to help mankind in the heavenly ways today. Most Christians know that Jesus accomplished thousands of miracles, which many are unknown to mankind. Here we will see some of the important miracles which Jesus has performed. The first miracle of Jesus was turning the water into wine. During the wedding in Cana of Galilee, Jesus, at Mary's request, transforms approximately 120 gallons of water into wine, the quality of which is highly praised by the ruler of the feast. Jesus chose a wedding to perform his first miracle, doubtless to emphasize the sanctity of marriage. And next we see the feeding of the 5,000, also known as the miracle of 5 loaves and 2 fish, or the miraculous feeding. According to the Gospel of John, reports that Jesus used 5 loaves and 2 fish supplied by a boy to feed the multitude of 5,000 people, and there were baskets of the remains of the food. The symbolism of Jesus turning 5 loaves and 2 fish into food for over 5,000 people it shows, according to the Gospel of John, the multitude was attracted to Jesus because of the healing works he performed, and the feeding of the multitude was taken as a further sign that Jesus was the Messiah. And it also tells us that if we believe in Jesus, he can perform anything beyond our expectations. And the next miracle we see the paralytic person Jesus heals at Bethsaida. Jesus said unto him, Rise, take up thy bed, and walk. And immediately the man was made whole and took up his bed and walked. We see in verses 5 to 9. Next, here we see Jesus healing the paralytic person at Capernaum. He wanted to show that he was an ordinary person. Likewise, Jesus called himself Son of Man to remind his disciples that he was a person like them, but had the authority on earth to forgive sins. Jesus says that he has the authority to forgive sins and then proves it by healing the paralyzed man. Next, we see Jesus giving sight to the blind man at Jericho. It is said, as Jesus went along, he saw a blind man from birth. His disciples asked him, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? Jesus said, Neither this man nor his parents sinned, but this happened so that the work of God might be displayed. When Jesus saw the blind man, he asked him, "What do you want me to do for you?" The blind man said to Jesus, "My teacher, let me see again." Jesus said to him, "Go, your faith has made you well." Immediately he regained his sight and followed him on the way. Next, we see Jesus healing the crippled woman. When Jesus saw the crippled woman, he called her forward and said to her, "Woman, you are set free from your infirmity." Then he put his hands on her, and immediately she straightened up and praised God. The story of Jesus healing the crippled woman teaches us a powerful lesson: freedom from bondage. Just as the woman's deformed back was healed after long suffering, so too can we be lifted up and freed from our own captivity by the healing touch of our loving Savior. The next miracle, we see Jesus calming the storm. When Jesus saw that there was a huge storm coming up, he stood up and commanded the wind and waves by simply saying, "Be quiet, be still." As he did so, there was complete calm. The disciples were left in shock and awe at the end of the miracle and said one another, "Who is this man? Even the wind and waves obey him." Jesus calming the storm tells us no matter what you are going through, your faith in God will always help you weather the storm or any big trouble you are in. The Lord will never abandon you in your time of need. Next miracle, we are going to see that Jesus shows that he could walk on waters. Why did Jesus demonstrate this miracle? Jesus wanted to show himself to be in command of the natural elements, something only God can do. He showed this truth to the disciples, who witnessed his divinity and responded with a confession of faith in Jesus as God, and when they got into the boat, the wind ceased. We also see in the Bible that when the wind was strong, Peter didn't have full faith and he began to sink into the water and cried out to Jesus to save him. The Savior took Peter's hand. Peter doubted, for he took the eyes off his mind of the Lord and looked to his surroundings, which were frightening. He thus despaired of reaching Christ. When Peter kept his focus on Jesus, he walked on water. The moment he shifted his focus to the storm, he began to sink. This teaches us that whether we direct our attention determines whether we stand firm or falter. In our lives, we often face storms of uncertainty, fear, and doubt. These are some of the important miracles of Jesus. I hope all of you will go through this, and please don't forget to share your views and comments. And thank you for watching.